Hello, and welcome back to your South King County Real Estate Update. My name is Sarah Eggleston with Stone Egg Realty at John L. Scott, and I'm back to deliver your local real estate news for August. I'll go ahead and jump right on into these slides. So it is August 2023, and I'll go ahead and jump right into it. Seattle area home buyers find fewer homes on the market. So across the region, we have less homes on the market than we have traditionally in the past. About 2,200 detached single-family houses and townhomes were newly listed for sale, and that's about 1,000 fewer than the same month of last year. So we are running on about 2/3 of that inventory coming to the market compared to what we saw last year. We haven't seen numbers this low since July of 2017. So we are just really short on inventory on the market right now. And that is really bringing down the number of sales that are coming through right now. Mortgage rates have definitely been a part of that as well. There's been a lot of people that have been kind of pushed out of the market because of those rising interest rates, those rising costs. But the number of homes for the sale on the market has reduced the amount of sales that we've had and kept those prices higher. So if we look at that home price activity, we've come up in King County a bit from last year. We'd had that big dip down, but we have come back, and it looks like we are headed into the fall season, kind of peaked up here in June. So a little bit of an early decline. We're just shy of $900,000 for our average King County home sale price. And if we look at home sales versus condo sales, in North King County, they actually did have more homes close. Everywhere else has had fewer sales, and that is true for condos as well. Across the board, fewer sales. And prices really depends on where you're looking. Seattle is down almost 6%, but here on the south end, we are up 6% in Southwest King County, up 1.4% in Southeast King County. And if we're looking at condos, we are up across the board from last year. So we have definitely seen that price come back, and prices are a little bit higher than they were this time last year. Across the region, home prices were flat or down or up, depending on where you're looking. So it's all over the board. This is one of the reasons it's important to have somebody who's informed in your area representing you in real estate. So with King County, prices are up in some areas and down in others. But if we look at a lot of the major cities on a national level, the appreciation since March of 2020, we have increased home values significantly. We had that huge run up in 2020, 2021, and the beginning of 2022. So the declines of last year were not enough to erase a large portion of that. In Seattle, we're up almost 38% from where home values were in March of 2020. And if we're looking at home prices going forward, the original forecast, this was heading into 2023. At the end of 2022, everybody put out their forecast for where they thought 2023 was going to end. Pretty much across the board, CoreLogic was the exception there. Everyone thought home prices were going to go down over the course of the year from December to December. However, a lot of those organizations have updated their forecasts from either zero, so either flat or increasing in value, up to 6.8% in CoreLogic's case. And that brings us to our market stat minute. So here in Southeast King County, we had an overall month supply pending of 1 month supply, and 66.2 homes went pending within the first 30 days. So that is a frenzied market. But if we look down at our lower price points, we're at extreme frenzy between 500 and 750K with 0.8 months supply. Those lower price points, they are moving pretty quickly in general. In Southwest King County, we have about 1.2 months supply, still in a frenzy with 68.9% of homes going pending in that first 30 days. So that's a shortage of supply. We have a severe shortage down at that lowest price point, but not quite as intense as Southeast King County. This is Southeast King County. The purple line is this year. The dark blue line here, that was 2020. That was the dip from when we had the shutdown orders and pretty quickly came back to meet up with our normal trends. But this year, we just have so many fewer homes coming on the market. This line is so far below. And each month that we have these fewer listings coming to the market, that's a cumulative thing. So we are building into a huge shortage of supply. For buyer contracts, we started out right in line with where we would expect to be in January and have not really risen to what our seasonal trends would expect. But that's just because there's fewer homes on the market and those higher interest rates are pushing some people away from buying right now. These are those two lines mixed together. The closer the orange lines are to the green, the more intense the market is. So that 2021 here, this orange is basically filling up all the space underneath the green line here. And even though we have our green line way slower, or fewer homes listed than before, those orange lines are coming up and filling that gap. So that just means things are moving pretty quickly. And for our hyperlocal breakdown, we have Kent, Renton, Auburn, and Federal Way. These are new listings coming to the market. So you can see in all four areas, we did tick down from where we were last month in new listings coming to the market. Auburn, not as drastically, but it is across the board fewer listings coming to the market than we saw earlier this year. Pending sales, we ticked up in Renton and Auburn and down in Kent and Federal Way. So this is just showing that area specific quality here. These areas are not very far away from each other. And the fact that they're performing this different, it just shows that you need to be very specific about what area you're looking in, because that can matter a lot in how difficult or easy your house hunt is. And for median days on market, we had that jump up in January, February. We're at 7 days across the board in all four areas, 7 days, median days on market. And median sales price ticked down ever so slightly in Kent from last month and is pretty flat compared to last year. Renton up 14% compared to last year. Auburn up 1.7% and Federal Way up 3.6% compared to a year ago. But all of them you can see have ticked up since last month, except for Kent. Last time we met, our interest rate was 6.96. This week, we're at 7.09. So this is the highest on the weekly average mortgage rate that we have seen in 20 years. So this is a pretty big headline here. It's the fourth consecutive weekly increase for that rate and the highest since early April 2002 when it was 7.13. The average rate on a 30-year remains more than double what it was 2 years ago when it was just 2.86. So those had a whole bunch of refinancing and sales following that because people wanted to lock in that rate. So now people are holding on to those rates and they don't want to let it go. If they have a house at a 3% interest rate, why would they want to move into something with a 7% interest rate? But nationally, we're down 23% on home sales from last year. And if we look at today's interest rate, 7.37, this is quite a shock compared to our weekly average mortgage rate of 7.09. If we're up to 7.37 now, we know our weekly average mortgage rate next week will be higher than that 3.07 because that's more of a Monday to Monday comparison. So if we're looking forward, we will expect to see higher interest rates on that weekly average for next week's report. And the blue line is Mortgage News Daily. You can see that shoot up at the end here. Freddie Mac, our weekly average mortgage rate, this has one data point per week, whereas our Mortgage News Daily has 5, and it has been lagging where our daily rate was because it's just a few days delayed on that rate data. As far as mortgage rates moving forward, we have a few projections here. Fannie Mae, the Master Builders Association, and National Association of Realtors. Looking forward, if we take the average of the three, Q4, we're looking at 6.27. So that is a decrease from where we are at right now. pretty significant, actually. So hopefully that happens quickly. And moving forward into 2024, Q1 through Q3, it'll be dropping gradually throughout that time, according to these projections. And both of the inflation measures are moderating, both of those, the consumer price index and PCE price index. Those have been decreasing, heading in the right direction. Generally, we can expect this to have a positive effect on mortgage rates as we head forward. And from a historical perspective, the reason that the Fed is more hesitant to ease off of the Fed funds rate in the 70s, they thought they got to a point just above 4 here, 4.5, 5, where they thought that was acceptable and eased up. And then the inflation just spiked up again. And it was even harder to get it under control and took a lot longer. So we're trying to avoid this second spike here by having the Fed be more aggressive with their rate hikes. We've already made it below where they did in the past when they started to go up again. So hopefully we can get this under control. Once we get to that 2%, that is what the Fed wants to see. And hopefully we can get there and have it be stable moving forward. Just want to invite you to my open house tomorrow at Wonderland Estates in Renton on Maple Drive. I'll be there noon to 2 tomorrow. It is a 55 and up community, and it is just the cutest little space. The neighbors are so sweet. Everyone I've talked to at this property is just the kindest person. So I am really excited to host this open house. Hopefully we get some neighbors in. Hopefully you can stop by and say hi. If you want to see the property details, you can head to my website /featured listing and check it out. And I do have those summer buyer and seller guides available. If you do want one of these, let me know if you're thinking about making a move in the next couple months. I would love to get one of these in your hands or your email inbox. So just let me know what works best for you. Seahawks season is starting so soon. It's less than a month away. So let me know what the best way to get your schedule to you is. Those will be going out pretty soon here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My phone number and email address are on the screen there. I would love to have a conversation with you about the real estate market in your area or an area you may be interested in, or just answer any general questions you may have, our local news versus national news. Anything that you want to chat about, let's get together and have that conversation. So thanks again for joining me for your South King County real estate update. I will be back here next month. Check the Facebook pages for the exact date. I will post another event for the next South King County real estate update for September. And I will see you next month. Have a good one and happy August.